we've turned over all the control to women, the people that know the least about sports, have the least passion for sports. It's all in the participation rates. Are they willing to sleep their way in? Yes, they are. Women were using their sexual prowess to bait network executives into giving them prominent roles in sports television. And that became the model. Hey, we got to put a OnlyFans model, and she's got to pretend like she's some expert, and she's got to inject her opinion in all of these conversations, and it's Molly Qerim and it's Kari Champion. These are smoke shows, and people love watching them. They don't want to hear from them, but they love watching them. This mostly falls on men. We are so weak. This has been going on since the beginning of time, almost, or since this whole thing started. Yeah, I'm going to say Phyllis George and Jane Kennedy. I have no idea if they slept their way to those positions. I do know they were brought on as eye candy on the NFL Today show and all of that. And I do know that men in those reporting roles do whatever they can to acquire information. They cut unethical deals with people to get information so they can elevate as these information hounds and these news breakers. Men will do unethical things to get that information. They'll protect certain people. They'll protect certain agents. They'll promote certain narratives to keep getting that information. Women in those roles, they'll just sleep their way in. They'll make the same promises as men, but because they're dealing with these alpha, undisciplined men in the sports world, they'll just exchange sexual favors for information. I'm not saying it's all of them, but it happens. These are hyper-competitive jobs that pay a very good, let's say $200,000 to seven figures. And again, all you travel around at a sporting event, you're the cool kid, blah, blah, blah. These young women, and these women that want to be on TV, whether it be involved in sports, whether it be on some sitcom in Hollywood or some movie in Hollywood. I don't dislike Erin Andrews, but she was the first, and she was also didn't like me because I did come up with the nickname Sideline Barbie. She was Sideline Barbie. And I remember Deadspin picked it up when she hit the college football scene for ESPN and became this heartthrob of college football fans. That's when the whole OnlyFans model thing just took off. Erin Andrews is a big star. She's super attractive. She's on the sidelines. College football frat boys are going crazy every time they see her. When she walks, she's as big a star as any of the broadcasters because she's this super attractive woman that's on the sidelines at college football games. Everybody wants to be friendly with Erin Andrews. And then shortly after Erin Andrews leaves or departs that role, I can't remember if it's immediately after, but not long after, Maria Taylor filled that role for ESPN. Now, in my view, another super attractive, tall woman, and the whole Erin Andrews, Maria Taylor, superstar celebrity, hot girls. I think Maria Taylor's a former volleyball and basketball player, maybe at the University of Georgia. This whole model just takes off. And women are like, oh my God, I want to be the next Erin Andrews. I want to be the next Maria Taylor. They became superstars. Then they got pushed into other roles other than just being eye candy on the sidelines. And the whole OnlyFans model kind of goes public and it becomes a big deal. And every network is now looking for their Erin Andrews or their Maria Taylor. But this actually started long before that, behind the scenes. And I could sit here and name names, but I'm not going to do that. I have no interest in doing that because I really don't see those women as any more dastardly than men. I see them as, because again, we have the control and power. If these executives had any discipline, if they had any morality and any convictions, they wouldn't allow this to go on. They wouldn't subject these women. They would get the jobs based on merit just like everyone else. But instead, everybody kind of likes the OnlyFans model. The models like it. and the executives like it. The athletes like it. Again, many of these reporters sleep with athletes to get information on the team, sleep with coaches to get information on the team. Because he's passed, and I don't want to besmirch his character, but because he's passed, I'll just throw out one name. Like Denny Green was knocking him off, passing out information back in his heyday when he was the Vikings coach and had Randy Moss and Chris Carter and had things going on in with the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, that gave him access to certain reporters. It is what it is. These are just facts. And so the next thing you know, you got to show First Take. Bit of a cold. It's cold here in Nashville. But next thing you know, you got First Take. And it's Kari Champion and Molly Qerim. And hey, we got to sprinkle some eye candy on these debate shows. We got to put some hot women on the debate shows and cut out this role and give them this eye candy, and they get to be the host of the debate between Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. It changes the conversation. You inject a woman into any conversation, and it changes the conversation. It becomes less honest. It becomes more about, hey, make sure I don't say anything that this woman can use against me. First Cup Coffee, Christian-owned Patriot Coffee Company that stands for core values, family, and building community across the nation. Go to firstcup.com, use the promo code JASON, and save an additional 10% on your order. And if you subscribe, save another 10% for the life of your subscription. And take Michelle Beadle when she was on Sports Nation. She has the ultimate power. She can say, she can even complain about things that didn't happen on her show. Oh, Stephen A. Smith said this. I can throw a tantrum on my show. I can go on social media and throw a tantrum and get him in all kinds of trouble and get him in hot water. They're like 52, 53% of the population. But when you look at who actually participates in sports and who has an interest in sports, it's overwhelmingly men. But somehow we want to inject women into all of these spaces. We have embraced delusion and insanity, all because we're catering to, kowtowing to, living in the delusion of women.